4,
Am I
3.
starting?
Pod-A-Holics, episode 20. Corey, what's up?
Yo, what's going on, bro? Happy Turkey Day from Canada. It is Thanksgiving here today.
Oh, is
I
it
know
really?
y'all American. Yeah, so in Canada, we actually have a different Thanksgiving. It is on October 10th this year, where I know y'all's Thanksgiving is in November. So it's kind of
Interesting.
I am just taking this as a standard day. It's been pretty awesome to start the day off. I won't lie. We had our meeting. We've gotten our DM agency and all the DMers going. We got our first training for that one today. Then right before we got on the call here, I just got a new member in ELC, which I'm really pumped. So today's off to a great start, and which is why I want to talk about how you should be asking for help opposed to this whole I want to try it myself, because that's exactly what this person said, and we had to discuss about that. So what's going on today, my man? We're going to be dropping some value is what we're doing today.
Some value.
That's what I'm super pumped about. That's what I'm super pumped about.
Some value with a fat V.
With a fat V.
So
for today, what we're talking about, everyone, is the pitfalls that entrepreneurs fall into when we go into this mindset. I want to try it myself. Now, this is something that we see all across the board, whether it is online coaches wanting to build and scale their online businesses, whether this is fitness clients wanting to get healthy, or whether this is creators looking to blow up their social medias. Here's the thing. I understand we want to try this for ourselves to see what we're good at. But at that point, you're just pissing in the wind, in my opinion. What about you, Kevin? Like, I know. It is piss. It's treading water, piss in the wind. At the end of the day, you're
100%.
spinning your tires, doing the exact same shit over and over, expecting a different result. And why do we do this? Because we don't know what.
100%. Dude, I'm vibing out right now, man. Like things are great. I'm not sick. I've been sick for like a week and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel better.
You've been dead sick.
Dead sick. I'm smoking a hookah right now. I'm chilling. So if you guys see some smoke, we're vibing out. Don't judge me. You guys can sit here and be like, "Oh my god, hookah." So I'm in better shape than most of you on here. So chill. Chill out.
Okay? Yo, facts.
I can still run a mile in 6 minutes. Okay. And we're good. I did go to the doctor today. Everything's good. Everything's solid.
There you go. Yeah,
fantastic.
See, I've never been a long distance type person. Like, you get me to run a mile, I'm just gonna tell you to go fuck yourself. Because I'm not.
I play soccer, so I got to. I got no choice.
Yeah. See, I played football. I did track. That's the things that I did. So it was more like short distance, really fast, and then you're just done it.
What are the sports? Let me ask you this to go off tangent just for a little bit. What are the sports that you wouldn't do? And don't say CrossFit.
What are the sports I wouldn't do?
What are the traditional sports that you would not do no matter
fucking
what?
Hockey. Fucking hockey.
Hockey, really?
Fuck hockey, man. Here's the thing.
You're Canadian. That's weird.
I'm okay. I might be Canadian. I'm born in the wrong fucking country. Here's the thing. Number one, I hate the fucking cold. So that's hockey,
let alone, it's like being born in Mexico and not playing soccer.
Yeah,
at least a little bit.
It's kind of weird. But here's the thing. I don't like the cold. I am very open about this. I am a big bitch in the cold. I do not like it. There's a reason why I have underground parking, and it has very little to do with my car being warm in the winter, and most of what to do with me just being able to run my dog downstairs in a heated car garage opposed to going outside. Yeah. Second reason why I don't play hockey is because I don't really want to fucking do it. It doesn't look fun. I don't really like skating. But like I said, that was also because I think at a young age as well, my stepdad was a real asshole. And in Canada, it gets like minus 20, minus 30, minus 40. There's this rule that we couldn't be in the house during the day, and we had to be outside. Yeah. So we built a little fucking log fort where we had little fires in. You'd be sitting outside for hours, shaking, freezing our asses off. And then that's where it's like, hey, you want to go skating? No, fuck you. I want to stay inside. So that's why I don't like hockey. And then on the other side of that, I also don't drink beer. So I am also a pretty shitty Canadian. I completely get it. So that's why I need to like migrate my ass down south onto a beach somewhere. But yeah, that's more of my
Indianapolis.
Sure.
You gotta stay here. You gotta stay here for at least like a month or two.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I'll come there for a month or so, and like I'll come. Oh yeah, no, dude, I'll spend like a month or two there every year. That's fine. I'll come
100%.
there, but like, don't expect me to
We'll
just
have a room
be
for you and everything. Catered. Perfect.
okay,
The whole month.
mate.
I'll
The
have a
whole.
you ever seen what is it, Coming to America?
Mm-mm.
Where at the beginning of the episode it's his birthday and they walk into the room and they open up the blinds like super like quiet, and then they have a band come out and they start playing like slow jams, and he wakes up, it's Eddie Murphy, wakes up like super calm. Then they take him to the spa. He's got like naked women in the spa. One of them's like sucking him off underneath and like clean him off. Yep.
No, I haven't seen that movie. This is an Eddie Murphy movie.
It's an Eddie Murphy movie.
Yeah, he came a long way from Doctor Dolittle.
She comes up out of the. I think this is before Doolittle. She comes up out of the water and she goes, "The royal penis is clean, Your Highness." You never seen?
Oh, you mean the original Coming to? No, I haven't seen that. I thought you were talking about the new Coming Back to. No, I haven't seen either one of those.
The new one's pretty good, but the original one's like the OG Coming to America, all the way. Anyways, let's talk about coaches, guys. It is okay to start new things and feel uncomfortable. Let's start it off with that. It is okay to start new things and feel uncomfortable. But just because you feel uncomfortable does not mean you have to fix that uncomfort by being ego driven. And let me tell you, I've been there. And at a very young age, honestly, like my biggest trait that I had to get over that truthfully destroyed me, destroyed the relationships that I had with some people at a very young age, is that I was kind of arrogant sometimes, and I was driven by ego a lot of the times, where I thought I could do a lot of things myself. And the way that I spoke, the way that I did things was very not in favor of others. It was very much just in favor of me. And I just wanted to do things like by myself, and I got overwhelmed. I probably would have seen a little bit more success earlier on rather than later. And truthfully, I should have just asked for help. And maybe you guys have listened to the podcast enough to where that I used to have a gym for a few months of the year back when I was like 21 years old. God, I can't even talk. And the thing is, like, I thought I could do everything. I didn't even let my family know. I thought I can run an ad by myself. I thought I could do the business stuff by myself. I thought I could do the Legion by myself and train by myself and do all the things. Now, granted, I didn't have a whole lot of funds, but I feel like some people would have been willing to help me at a very young age, specifically because they wanted to see me succeed. And some people, they don't let people know that they need help. And you might have people in your corner who are willing to help you even for free because they want to see you succeed. And too many times do I hear people come in and they're like, I'm just gonna do it on my own. I don't need your help right now. Even when you're asking for just advice on like daily life and things like that, too many people are like, no, dude, I don't want to hear your advice. And dude, that was a huge problem of mine, a huge one. Sometimes even now, but I would say a whole lot less. And I see things just working so much better. I'm in a decent home. My family's okay. Financially we're good. I have good friendships, good relationships. Whereas before, shit, fuck that. I was barely paying rent. I had my car repossessed when I was like 23, bro. All kinds of stupid shit. And I never asked for help.
Yeah, and like I think that's like the biggest thing. And again, it's pride. Again, like no one likes asking for help.
It's
no one likes
pride, it's
admitting
what it is.
something that they're not good at. No one likes saying, "Oh yeah, like I'm going through this shit." Because like again, even if like for instance, if you haven't talked to someone in a while or something like that or whatever it is, and they're like, "Oh, how's it going? How you been?" Even if you're going through a lot of shit and like life isn't as great as whatever as you want it to be, or you're going through struggles, you're going through a season, you name it. What do we always say? Oh, it's good. I'm good. It's like, but why? Why do you gotta lie to yourself like that? Like I know for a fact that I'm never always good. I got shit going on too. Like whether it's in business, whether it's in my life, I always got shit going on.
Always.
But this is where before, and I think this is also just the tenacity where again, it just gets to the point where we just don't like to be in a position of vulnerability. And that's what it is. It's a position of feeling weak. And that could be whether you're physically trying to work out in the gym, that could be whether you're comparing your social media profile to others, or how big your client list is to other coaches or other business owners, or even if you're real estate, how many houses you're selling compared to others, car salesmen, how many cars are you selling in your dealership right now, all these things. But here's the thing, we want to show off the good parts about us. We don't want to show the things that we aren't always the best at, but then that's where we always need the most help. I was watching this this one reel, and this guy was he was interviewing CEOs, and he said, hey, so it's kind of like, you seen those reels where it's like the guy walks up to people in the cars, like, hey, what do you do for a living? The person,
Yeah, Daniel
like,
Mack. Daniel
yeah,
Mack.
so it's similar to that, where he walks up and he's like, hey, what do you do for work? And the guy would say, like, I'm a CEO or whatever. He's like, awesome. So what would be like the biggest piece of advice that you would want to go back to yourself 20 years ago and tell? And the guy said straight up, go ask for help.
Yep.
Go ask for help.
Yeah,
because it's a real thing though, because when we don't ask for help, we're trying to navigate those things that we don't know. That can come into, and this comes into play with lots of different things, like what we learned from a very young age. Well, get back into help. A long time we learned, if you grew up in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, that what body you have to look like. Very skinny, very slim. Like, we weren't meant to eat a lot of food. You got to do more activity. This is the idea that came about with eating less food, doing more activity is going to equal more results, which a lot of people fall into. But this is where we don't actually go to try to educate ourselves, because we heard it from this person, we heard it from that person. It's the way media has projected that for us to learn. No, it's not right. So that's where it's really, really to break those things, because we don't know, and you only find out when you ask questions. But our pride and our ego get in the way to where we don't ask these questions and we try to navigate it. So Kevin, me and you talked about this. I kind of look at this. It's kind of like this. For those of you, whether you're struggling building your business, you're struggling finding leads, you're struggling getting views on your content, you're struggling losing weight, whatever it is, it kind of comes down to this. Think about it this way. If you don't have experience in an area, how can you expect yourself to be an expert? You can't. How can you expect yourself to perform if you've never practiced? Like, if I threw you into the middle of an NFL football game, you're probably going to get fucked up because you have no idea what you're doing, but you want to try it yourself. Like, really relax. So this is the way I look at it.
With that being said, like, with that sense of like the athlete side of things, like, I go like this past month and a half, 2 months, like, I've been taking London tour cheerleading. And I'm watching these little kids play football, right? They're in fucking fourth or fifth grade. And I'm thinking to myself, what happens if, just my athlete brain, I'm like, what happens if I was the coach of this football team? And I'm like, I'm a decent athlete. Or what if I was playing football? I'm a decent athlete, but like, I wouldn't know all of the coaching aspects of football. Where just because you're an athlete doesn't mean that you can just jump into something. You have to ask for help. Just because you're a human being and everybody tells you that you're capable of whatever, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're wired already with the capabilities of whatever industry or career you're trying to take.
Yes. No, straight up. And like, prime example, like we do this. Does Michael Phelps have a coach? Does Usain Bolt have a coach? Why and why do they have coaches?
Oversee.
Why?
They see.
So why do NFL teams have coaches?
Things, the coaches see things that maybe athletes don't see. The
coaches see you might be a world. You could be a world-class athlete, but that doesn't mean you know shit. Here's the thing. I was a pretty good football player. I played football for a long time. Would I say I'm the best coach for football? No, not really, because I know how to play my position, react, and do that. But like, in terms of schemes and routes and all these different, because that was never my thing. So the way I'm kind of looking at it this way is now you take all these different examples, but drop it into this, and this is something relatable across the board for everyone. I'd say a good like 80% of people know very minimal about a car, me included. I don't know a whole lot about a car. So that being said, if I'm driving down the highway and my Audi breaks down on the highway, you think I'm going to be the one to go pop that hood and go fix that fucking car?
No.
Fuck no, I'm not, because I'm probably just thing. If you have that kind of respect for your car, to take it to a mechanic and someone that knows what they're doing, because you want the longevity of your car and not have to pay for damages to your car and have to buy a new car when it breaks down, do mechanics, you can prolong that life. Why do you do it to your body? Why do you do it to business? Why do you do it to yourself? Here, you only have these one things. You can't just go off and get a new body. Your body's going to shut down, you'll die. So
Yep.
you need to go invest. Or again, you don't do it, then you get issues down the road. So now all those medical bills are piling up because you didn't want to just take it to a mechanic just to get it tuned up when you should have. Or your business crashes and burns and you can't break a certain plateau and you're still stressing about paying bills. You're still stressing because you're not able to live the life that you want. You might have some clients who might make a couple grand a month, whatever it is, but then you end up quitting because you're burning out, because you're overwhelmed, you're stressed, you're pissed because all these things don't work. And you're trying to grow, but then now you're trying to research and you're trying to learn and all these different things. When all you literally had to do was, hey, how do I do this? That's all you gotta do. But so many people hold
Here's
themselves
the number
back.
one thing that I've always said on this podcast, and I will stand by it 1,000%, is self-awareness. You got to get good at self-awareness, because like you weren't born yesterday. We're not on here talking to 5-year-olds. We're talking to adults. Okay.
Mhm.
And in your adulthood, you have to have learned a thing or two now of like what kind of person you are, what your traits are, what you like, what you don't like, what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy. And then all of a sudden you get put in a different room and then you forget these things. And let's say, for example, I was talking to one of our coaches, and I was asking her, why did you set your business this way, your prices and things like that? And she goes, well, because other coaches are doing the same thing. Other people are doing the same thing. So I had to go below. I don't feel like I'm there yet. And then I ask, well, what are you what challenges are you facing? It's like, well, I can't get people signed up. I don't really like doing this. I don't really like doing that. I'm like, cool. So do you know all these other things like in your business or in your life that you don't like? Like, are they similar to other things you don't like in your life? Yes. Okay. So why are we carrying it into something new? Just be aware sooner. So that way, if let's say you're not necessarily the best at doing content and you're sitting there and you're not posting for months on end, go find somebody who can give you a plan or like just talk to you with, right? Occasionally I'll confess here, sometimes I'll look at some of my cousins and I'm posting something and I'll turn, I'm like, hey, can you read this real quick? I'm not feeling that hot about this post. Can you just check this out before I post it? I actually did that with my bio from OMG. I was typing it out. I was with my cousin. I turned it to him. I was like, I feel like I'm missing something here. You know me decently enough. If not, then I can explain where I'm coming from with this. Can you just check this out? Even now, guys, literally, what was that? Two on Saturday. On
Mhm.
Saturday, I turned out, I was like, read this. Because I know that an outside view and he gave me some pointers. I was like, okay, this is actually good. I feel more confident about it. And not that I didn't know where to start, but I feel more confident about my post because I turned to somebody and I said, hey, can you check this out? And a lot of people don't do that because they're just not self-aware. Be more self-aware and it will lead to you not being in this like, I want to try it first, and hold on to that for forever. If you can be more self-aware sooner, maybe you won't have to hold on to this try by myself and get overwhelmed. As the title of our podcast is like it leads to overwhelming behavior. Okay. Like for example, if you got to do marketing, if you got to post it as well, and you got to talk to people, and you got to go deliver, and you got to be getting good at the craft yourself on the back end side of things and intaking information, reading and all that stuff. Sometimes it's really hard to do all of it and balance it all because it's a lot of input energy and a lot of output energy. Something I was talking to the coaches about. I was like, some days will be full of inward activities and some days will be full of outward activities. And sometimes we want to do both. And maybe some people are more introverted than extroverted where they like the input and they only like giving about 25% or 20% of the day being output. So then if you start doing 50% and you can only handle 20%, this is just an example, arbitrary numbers here, but you got to pick up on that sooner and say, you know what, like I enjoy being a boss of my own business, but I really don't enjoy this messaging. I know I'm supposed to do it. Let me game plan this week, and then next week another issue. Let me game plan again, and then another week another issue. Now you're 3 weeks behind on what other people have executed nicely on because they went and found help. So now you're 3 weeks behind in your business. You're gonna look at somebody else. You're gonna compare. You're gonna be like, fuck, I'm not successful, and then it just leads to exhaustion and burnout.
Mhm. Yeah, 100%. And these are the type of things that we really got to look at because and we've talked about this on other podcasts. We've talked about this multiple times, I think. But when you are not able to keep yourself rolling in successful, you need to have that awareness where you what you're doing or asking for that help. Now that also comes into another whole plethora of issues is where do you go find the help? Because there's going to be lots of mentorships out there. There's going to be lots of services out there. There's going to be lots of different things that are going to be selling you on the cool little selling features, but not giving you the full blown picture. So when we start looking at these things, you need to really educate yourself on what is it that you really need to delegate? What is it that you really need to put out in your business? So then that way you can either get that taken care of for you or educate yourself in the right processes. So then that way you can be more proficient at it. These are the type of things where Kevin's talking about. You need to be self-aware, because if we're not self-aware, this is what's going to happen. It's happened to me, happened to many other coaches, happened to many other creators, is going to be this. You are doing so much to keep yourself relevant and keep yourself trying to do the things that you think you need to do to be successful, while also trying to learn these things, while also trying to develop these skills and research it. You're burning the candle at both ends to now where it's now you don't have room in your significant other. You don't have room in your life to go out and enjoy things. You can't go to Thanksgiving dinner because you're working, or even if you are at dinner, you're messaging or doing whatever. And this now burns out to where you're like, why the fuck am I even doing this?
I think a good way to put it is categorize it into inward activities and outward activities. And it goes back to that deep rooted extrovert versus introvert, which is what everybody knows. Like everyone knows those two words. And whether you know the deep definition of them, what we do know is introvert is like a little bit quieter, more reserved. Extrovert is like the social person. And you can kind of put it in that same way, inward activities, outward activities. There's deeper thoughts to that, but if you're a business owner or just a person that enjoys their management position at your job, what tasks are you doing that are more inward? What tasks are you doing that are more outward? And which ones do you enjoy more of? And then what parts of the outward or inward energy do you least likely or are you least likely to complete, and then delegate those out? So, for example, if you don't like being on calls with people, but you do like being on orientation calls, but not sales calls, and you like launching people into your business or your services, then maybe outsource somebody who can pitch your services the best way. Someone who's good at understanding your introverted energy and then can extrovert the message and pitch out to somebody. Okay. That's why a lot of teams have salespeople. Okay. Just because there's a owner of a car lot, let's say, he might not enjoy selling cars all the time, but he might enjoy putting money into the business so that other people can, sell and make money themselves. I don't know. So
Mhm.
again, inward energy versus outward energy would be a fantastic way to start for a lot of you, and then map it out. So let me give examples of inward energy: reading, studying, okay, working out would be inward energy. It's all on your own. Outward energy, another example of it would be this is a podcast, this is outward energy. Okay, we're on here giving you outward energy in the message that we're providing. A sales call is outward energy. You have to communicate with somebody. Outward energy within your business before they become your client or after they become your client is like doing check ins. That is outward energy. You have to give to something. Okay. Doing check ins again. So categorize these things in certain aspects of your life, and then maybe you'll be more easily adjustable to things. You'll be more
Mhm.
likely to complete certain tasks. Okay. And it may create bandwidth so where you're not thinking of so many things all the time. And then things may seem better
Mhm.
to you that you might not have thought um, well enough before it and thought like, oh, I can't do that. So for example, if you are a salesperson and you're like, dude, I don't see a world where I can give much attention to learning more skills, more trade, like more things, and maybe all you needed to do was delegate something in your life that is too much outward. You're giving too much outward energy, and 80-90% of your day is outward, and then you only have 10%. Where if you create bandwidth, maybe your inward energy starts to kind of go from 10% to 15% and so forth, and then now you're thinking, oh shit, maybe I can learn new skills. Maybe I can learn new things. And that's the way that I view things on a
Mhm.
daily. And that's what I told the coaches, and it seemed to have clicked.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like that's going to be the thing is figuring out what are the things that you're good at, making sure that you're doing that the right part where you're giving the right outward energy, but also taking it in. But then we also need to look at it this way too. And this is the reality for everyone, whether you want to accept it or not. This is the reality. You
Yeah.
might know everything that you need to know. Okay, so prime example, fitness coaches.
Hmm.
Would you agree that a good fitness coach to do meal prep planning,
I would
knows how to
assume
do
so. Yeah.
macro? Yeah, they know
Hmm.
how to program, correct?
Hmm.
And they've probably done it for hundreds, if not thousands of others, right?
Hmm.
So then why does every good fitness coach always have a coach themselves?
It's accountability. I told this to my coach the other day. I said, you know what you do for me. I said, you know what you do for me. You keep me from honestly being a fat fuck,
Yeah.
truthfully, because if I know how to do all the things, you know, but like it's at that accountability level or that accountability piece that really like creates bandwidth in my head where I'm like, okay, I don't have to be the only person that's holding myself accountable. Like I could talk to somebody else about this as well, and
Or
they
you
can
don't even
get
need
me
to
back on
create
track.
it. Or just like you were talking about with your outward energy, that's still for you to meal plan for yourself, to do your macros, to do your program. That's still outward energy. Here's the other side of it. So why is it that we like to have accountability? Why is that? Like in your opinion, why do you believe that we in general, not just fitness coaches, but in general, people need accountability? Why is that?
Yeah. So one of them for me is community. I think the accountability adds community, but also the likelihood of achievement goes much higher.
Mhm. Straight up.
It's like statistically proven. Studies are out that people who have somebody else waiting for them have some kind of more or the people who have more success in whatever it is that they're doing.
Yeah.
So the the,
And
the level of likelihood is much
yeah.
higher.
And well, but again, you even look at guys like Gary Vee.
Hmm.
He's got a coach. You look at tons of all the other mentors out there, they all got coaches. So here's the thing. It's not so much that we need the accountability. That's part of it. Yes, that you got to do the things that you need to do. But here's the psychological side of this. Okay, and this goes across the board for majority of people. I'll break it down this way so we can all understand this. So, Kevin, if I were to come to you, even outside of health and fitness and just normal life, if I were to come to you with some problems, do you think that you could give me some pretty solid advice on what I'm going through?
Probably.
Yeah, right. Because here's the thing: we all have fucking PhDs when it comes to giving advice. But let me ask you this: do you ever follow your own advice?
You know what I listened to yesterday? Not always.
No, we never fucking follow our own advice.
We are all saints when it comes to talking about other people's sins.
But we don't talk about our own sins.
Right.
So here's the thing: it's a psychological thing, and this goes across the board, like we just talked about. We just talked about other people gossip about others, but they don't ever talk about themselves.
Hmm.
We consistently can give advice to others, but we don't take our own advice. This is a psychological thing because we don't have the disposition to understand that we have this belief in ourselves, a self-worth, and our positioning to where we do look for a lot of outside validations to what we're doing right or what we're doing wrong to give us that direction. Even though you know for a fact that you should not be scrolling social media and you should be filming some content and creating content, but you fall into the wormhole of watching content because you rather watch the content than create it yourself. Coaches, we don't program for ourselves all the time. We don't meal plan for ourselves all the time. I know it for a fact I fucking don't,
I
which is
don't.
why I
I
have a
haven't. I
coach.
haven't programmed for myself, Corey.
You have a
Like
coach.
truth be told, I haven't programmed for myself. Probably since 2017, 2016.
Yeah. But then again, that's not taking away that you can't do it.
Yeah, it doesn't mean
Exactly.
anything.
So that this is where we got to look at it this way. So now when we go into this mindset, I need to try it myself. Well, here's the thing. Are you going to make yourself do everything it is that you absolutely need to do to be successful? Or are you going to rationalize and justify as to why you couldn't get this, this, and this done because you had this, this, and this going on where you have that person that's keeping you accountable, that guidance, that whatever it is to give you that criticism or that metaphorical slap upside the back of the fucking head, being like, get your fucking shit together because we all need it. We all need it because you're not going to listen to yourself.
No,
You
you're
are
not.
not
You're
going
really
to.
not.
There's a very,
You're
very,
not.
very, very, very
You're not.
small percentage of people that will actually be able to hold themselves accountable 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean those of you who say, "Oh yeah, I'm holding myself accountable because I'm programming for myself." Here's the thing: you still go the fuck out. You
But
still cheat on it. You don't track all your shit. You don't. You don't
here's the
measure
thing
it.
too. Here's the thing too is that it's not just about like having specifically like a coach. We as of today, we have more employees in OMG. And now our accountability doesn't mean we have to have a coach yet for OMG, but our accountability is our employees.
Mhm.
I like to think of it like that too. Like we're accountable to making sure that people have the tools that they need. We're accountable to our coaches. Okay.
But here's the
I
thing: who's
saw I
keeping
saw
us
Molly in
accountable to
here.
that?
Yeah, I saw Molly in here. We keep her accountable, and she keeps us accountable.
Mhm.
It's one of those things where it is by yourself. It doesn't work. But if you have somebody who's waiting, and maybe this is a better way to say it too. Maybe people can understand it like this. If you have someone waiting on you for something, that is a level of accountability. If you have someone waiting on you for something. And I just find it weird that people complain and they're like, my business isn't growing. Well, when you don't have anybody waiting on you, don't have clients. So that's a problem in itself. If you had clients, maybe you'd have more success. But let's say you don't have anything and you're like, well, I haven't gotten started. I haven't gotten started. I had somebody the other day, and if you're listening, I look, dude, you're lazy, truthfully. The big thing is like, oh, I'm gonna try it next week. I'm gonna start next week. I asked him the question. I was like, what's next week? What's next week? He never responded. And the thing is, it's like if you haven't launched your business, tells me you don't have clients, and then you're also trying to maintain your own accountability. It doesn't work, guys. Like it can work a little bit, but it doesn't work long term.
It doesn't work. Here's the thing: it doesn't work. I've done it before. It doesn't. It's not going to work. But again, this is also why every successful entrepreneur you're going to see, every time they say I'm self-made, they're full of shit. They're full of shit. They're not self fucking made.
There's
Because
nobody
here's
self-made, bro.
no one's self fucking made. Because if you're self fucking made, that means you did absolutely everything and got zero help. No one's done that. You go ask any successful entrepreneur, unless they're a fucking complete narcissist, they will tell you that they have a coach, they have help, they've had people help them, give them hands, everything. So anyone that will ever tell I'm self full of shit. Full of shit. Okay. So this is why you need to really, really look at who it is that you're even going to ask for help. Because so for instance, Kevin, he was on the call with a marketing specialist this week because honestly, we got a lot of content. Even for the podcast, we got a lot of
Yeah,
content.
we have the
And
podcast, we have our fitness stuff, and then I have the Warzone stream I do a
right.
couple
So
times a week.
now like when you talk to this marketing person, their program wasn't even that good.
It wasn't even that
It,
good for
it was
me.
trash because it was the same type of thing. Anyway, well, here I'll let you kind of tell what was kind of going on,
Yeah,
but
so
it's
so
very different from what we do.
yeah, so with OMG guys, what we really want you guys to strive for in here is again to go back to the same thing is like a lot of people aren't self-aware. They're not self-aware, and I think in OMG we create a lot of self-awareness because even though we're giving you a solid marketing plan, it is still up to you to then execute on these things. And then during that time frame, we're going to help you focus on things that you need to focus on, and then remove you from certain tasks that you don't need to focus on. So for us, it's remove you from being creative all the time and allowing like the creativity to be between us and you. But then on the lead gen side of things, that's also something that we want to remove you from. For the most part, I would say that a lot of coaches, I'm not going to say business owners, coaches want to provide more inward energy. They want to be more inward and they want to feel like an authority in the space. And in order to feel like an authority in the space, a lot of that comes with knowledge. Like you want to get more knowledgeable. And then a piece of that has to be outward energy because you have to post, you have to speak on the topics. So that way people know your authority. Well, the solution for a lot of people that are in agencies that don't necessarily want to put out a lot of outward energy, the solution for people is to get aware. It is not for somebody to do all of the work for you, all of the work for you. And then from there, when they try to do all the outward energy work for you, then for you to completely never get anybody in front of you. Okay. Now, when somebody else does the work for you, all of it, like quite literally all of it doesn't allow for you to actually get your message the way that you want to. Like the best person that can get your message across is you. Okay.
Mhm.
But there has to be an easier way than you doing it all on your own. But you can't also delegate it all either. So for us, the big thing is like, can we get you creative, allow you to then blossom and know which of your flower petals are the most blossoming, pick the ones that aren't, and then allow you to still look like a beautiful flower. And that's what we're doing here, where the conversation that I was having was they were trying to do a lot of it, but it wasn't allowing my brain and my creativity to blossom on their platform. Where I want somebody to, let's say right now we're doing this clip, right? And somebody's like, oh wow, what a great analogy, this flower blossom, blah blah. This company, what they wanted me to do is essentially follow their cadence, and the problem is that they were going to go post a clip of their cadence rather than essentially, okay, cool, what content are you posting right now? Let me give you some ideas, but you kind of have to do the rest of it and like let your personality shine. And my personality wasn't going to shine here. And then on top of that, with us, to get a little bit more specific, is that their engagement for this coach, or for me, wasn't high enough. So for example, for us, we're going to teach you to get in front of people, whereas they weren't going to teach me to get in front of people. They were just going to put a bunch of flower beds, but they were going to put it in a dark woods essentially, versus we want to get you a flower bed and place it in a zoo where
Mhm.
everybody comes to see it. Okay.
Mhm.
And the big thing here is like they were doing the content for coaches and things like that. And I'm just like, okay, this seems very cookie cutter. Like it doesn't seem very organic. It seems kind of like fake to me, versus us. We're like trying to get you to be real with people. Guys,
Yeah.
like if you want more real, I'm smoking a hookah on the podcast right now. I'm not gonna change for anybody. But what I do want people to do is to clip me and be like, this is the real side of Kevin, and take these clips and like, this is who he is, vibe with it. And that's what we want to do at OMG. That's what we want to
Yeah.
do. Like, who are you? Who are you deep? Like I asked somebody today, like, why do you want to make $200 per client? Oh, to make $200 to have a business? No, you want to make $200 because then that $200 allows you to feed your family. And when you feed your family, it creates happiness. But if you get another client, then it allows you to go pay for a certification. When you pay for a certification, you become more knowledgeable. And when you become more knowledgeable, you take care of your clients. And when you take care of your clients, they become happier. They think of things better. They become happier in all areas, right? So these things where it's like too done for you, it's like too done for you, where you delegate too much and you essentially sell your ideas to somebody else, it doesn't allow for good engagement. So for
Mhm.
us to kind of bring it back with OMG, before I lose track, what we want to do here is give you a game plan and then tailor it to you to be like, is this really you though? Is this really you? Like can we change this up a little bit? Can we show the real side of you? And then from there, how can we continue to get you better at showing the real side of you by maybe delegating a few other things that, while you still want to be involved in it, maybe we could take a little bit and continue to improve you as a person, as a coach, as a leader, as a communicator, and all that. That's what
Mhm.
we want to do here.
Yeah, and like so, for instance, so we'll wrap this up here pretty quick. But last thing I just kind of want to touch on is especially that experience that Kevin just explained. So things like that, you got to be on the lookout. Just like as if you're going for a fitness coach and they use cookie cutter programs, you can't do the same
It
thing
was
with
too
your
cookie
business.
cutter.
You
Yeah,
can't
that was
exactly.
it.
And
That
here's
was
the
it.
thing. So am I pretty good at creating content? You know what? Yes, 100%. I'm good at creating content. But here's my difference. My content doesn't follow a specific structure as to it's supposed to go a certain way this way, because content and marketing is very personalized to you. So this is
Very.
what I do with each and every single one of our members that come into OMG. We sit down with them and I take them through a full blown overview of them, their content, their styles, their messages. So like one of our members was like, Corey, I literally feel like I'm going through a personality test and you're going to read me my Enneagram right now. But that's the point,
That's the
because
point.
I need to understand to a depth who you are for multiple different purposes. So another member of ours, um, fitness, but also a teacher. And with something like this is where I was just going through these plans and creating. Then I had a huge idea as in how we're going to basically hold this person and be able to have social media, because I understood them from a very personalized standpoint where I was able to dig in. And from there, I create their content in a way where I literally break it down for them, what they need to. The follow up comes up. When they make their post, they send it to me. When they create their videos, they send it to me. So in that way I can give them feedback.
They've been sending it. Yep.
So that's why I give them feedback on the content that they create by the guidance I give. So here's the thing, just like any other muscle working out, your creativity is a muscle. So you got to get creative. So that way I walk them through this. Like I am there 100% where I'm walking them through, where I'm basically doing it for them until we start progressing them. And then as their creativity starts growing and growing through my guidance, through how we're breaking down, how we're creating it for them, this is where now the point I get at with them is where go do an idea like this. So my vision is go do something like this. And they're already bet. I know exactly.
Yeah, that was the problem with the conversation I had. It just seemed too cookie cutter, and it wasn't. I wanted somebody to go in there and dissect it and be like, yo, this would be cool. How about we do it this way?
That's also projecting your persona, your message, and being able to, how can we now push this along down the road? Not just how can I make a video and post it to get you views. It's no, how can we take it here and progress it down the road? So that way, not only do you get videos, you go viral.
The message behind it is important, not just volume. And that's like the big thing for us is like, in our chat, in the OMG coaches chat, even just this past week, there have been a lot of posts and coaches posting in there and saying, hey, what do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about that? Like our coaches send us the posts, like a couple of them sent their intro post to me already today. And I was like, okay, cool. This looks great. And here's some things that I would love to change up. Yesterday, one of our coaches put a video or put a picture. And I was like, yo, I got to see your face smiling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, versus like some programs out there will do all of it for you. You'll send it and then they'll post it, but then there's no real feedback. And I just don't like that.
Yeah. Or like
she asked me the girl on the sales call, she goes, so how did you become so like outgoing like this? I was like, the one thing I remember is I used to be in speech class and kids would be so nervous in high school to do their speech. And the kid would look over at me, and I remember this story vividly. His junior year of high school. He goes, are you ready for the presentation? I'm like, I'm okay. I got a decent template. He goes, what? I'm like, yeah, I got some ideas here. I got a sheet of paper. He's like, that's all you have? I got like this whole like journal here. I was like, we'll see how it goes. So I go up there, nail it. You know, and of course we're, you know, students will clap, but I nailed the presentation. I don't remember what it was about, but I nailed it. And I sit back down next to the kid. He goes, how'd you do that? I was like, I don't know, dude. I'm just having fun. Like, you know, we're just having a great time. It's like conversation. And then he goes up there. He's nervous, right? Now, granted, what people didn't see is like my insides were vibrating. I was like, shit, I'm nervous. But like, I was like, you know, still doing it. And over time, I think that just like I continue to get more self-aware, that people just enjoy like a good personality, no matter if you fuck up or not. And that is like the big thing here of feedback. When you get feedback, sometimes people tell you, dude, just post it. Like just post it. But also with some good feedback of like, how can we blossom your creativity, right? As well. So I, you know, the big thing here is like, how do you get better at things? It's not just one thing. Just like, you know, I didn't get really solid at like jumping on a podcast at 15 years old. I didn't know what podcasts were. Right. But over time in speech class and posting and getting feedback and things like that over the years, you know, it became now I'm like creative out of nowhere and it's easy.
But were you
and
able
that's
to
what we want to
sell
help
when
you with. Huh? What'd you say?
Were you able to sell when you first started too?
Fuck.
Were you able to sell?
Fuck
yeah,
no.
Exactly. Did you sell your first call? I fucking did.
No.
You did not.
But
here's the thing. These are things you get
better at. So this is where we really got to look at what are the things that you might be holding off on that you know you need to let go of or be able to get better at. So where do you need to remove your ego? Where do you need to remove your pride so that way you can actually unlock your ability to scale and grow past the plateaus that you're on? Yep. I think that's a good place to end this, because I think on Friday we might talk about how to break the plateaus that you're on if you're stuck there in your business.
Yep.
I think that's a good place to go.
Step by step. All right, Pod-A-Holics, episode 20.
Episode 20! Damn!
One thing that I did see before we end it is consistency. We're going to keep this because episode 20.
Episode 20, bro.
All right, guys. Much love. Pod-A-Holics. We out.
We out.